during and post?
Thank you for that question, and we're going to get you an answer.
Let me say that the Jamaica Defence Force and the Jamaica Constabulary Force are members of the National Disaster Committee, and they sit in the command center during the operation. So any request that comes in for search and rescue will be undertaken by the Jamaica Defence Force along with the Jamaica Fire Brigade, because they are a part of the national response team, and they are present, and we have equipments that are pre-positioned prior to the passage of Melissa that will be able to respond. So in a nutshell, yes, we are in a position to respond, and once the request comes in, the team will be ready to go. We have boats, helicopters, you name it. The government has equipped the Jamaica Defence Force, especially with a number of helicopters. The Jamaica Fire Brigade have a number of boats that can be used on land and can be used at sea for rescue operation and search operation.
Minister, I think there were some questions around tips, I think, between you and Mr. Thompson in terms of tips for persons. I know you're an expert in this area.
Yeah, thank you, Minister. Very difficult in terms of tips for Category 5, but nonetheless, I think one of the things that we have to do is to ensure that, as was said before, that we are doing most of the preparation going in. In terms of tips, we have always said that person should try as best as possible to bring a lot of stuff already outside, inside. We don't want a lot of stuff that you have loose stuff outside, especially Minister spoke it about construction sites. A lot of those things can be used as missile in the system, so you try to bring a lot of those in as best as possible. Try to secure your animals. If you're inside, you stay in between walls that are not close to your outer walls in terms of your structures, because if your structure is not sound enough, those will go. A little bit better, I think, for persons who have multi-story facility. If your roof goes, you can go on the lower part of your lower part of your building. Search and rescue component, the minister said it before. The teams are out there, but what we are saying in terms of tips as well, which was said before, and I will enforce it again, get into the shelters, because in terms of search and rescue, we can't do search and rescue in the heights of a system. Persons need to get away from the coastline, away from low-lying areas that are prone to flooding, and ensure that you are in safe, elevated areas to ensure that you are safe from all the dangers of coastal waters and riverine waters. And as best as possible, ensure that on the inside of your property, you are staying in between double walls. So if your outer wall goes, you're a little bit protected, and stay downstairs if you have a multi-story facility. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Thompson. Thank you, Minister Mackenzie. I think we're going to go to Nationwide News now.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Mahiri Stewart, Nationwide News. Question for Minister Vaz. You oversee the energy, telecoms, and transport portfolio. Have you been receiving any reports of vandalism in any of those three sectors?
Thank God, nothing so far, and I hope it remains that way. Nothing so far.
All right, Television Jamaica.
Yes, Minister Vaz, Andrea Chisholm from TVJ. Quickly checking on the JUTC buses. I think you mentioned that the CNG plant has been decommissioned, so I'm thinking that 60 or so about of the 93 buses that came in operate on CNG. So do you have enough CNG in place to operate those buses for a while, or is it that they're totally out of use for now?
Yes, Prior to the hurricane and in preparation for the hurricane, one of the requirements was for additional storage to be on location in case deliveries are not able, because the deliveries are done by road. So we took that into consideration. So I'm hoping that the plant will be able to be recommissioned in short order, but there may be, depending on the level of damage, some disruption in terms of the full fleet, but we will have enough to do what we need to do.
Nationwide, once again, question to Evan Thompson. We know the effects that we're expecting in terms of the hurricane force winds and the tropical storm force winds on the outer side of Melissa, but in terms of the eye, because that's obviously going to pass through the country as well, what kind of conditions can persons expect during the eye of the hurricane? I know things are kind of calm now in certain areas. Are those persons within the eye supposed to expect similar conditions?
Thanks. That's a very good question, Mahiri. It's important for us to understand what happens when the eye is expected to move across your area. First of all, the eye itself is a calm area in the center of the storm. So as that moves over, it will appear as if it's all done. It will be a clearing. There will be very little cloud cover. There will be very little wind. And so it will feel as though the storm has passed. And it's a good feeling. And so a number of persons would want to take the opportunity to get some quick repairs done, especially since the eye extends a few miles actually in diameter. So, it would take a little while to pass over you, and you could have some time of break. But before the eye gets to you, you would have passed through one of the most intense parts of this hurricane. It means that you will experience wind speeds that are approaching 300 kilometers per hour. This is round about 185 miles per hour. That's what the system is packing as a Category 5 hurricane. And much of that will be within the eye wall. In that eye wall, which is that area that surrounds the eye, you will have that most intense wind speeds, but also the most torrential downpours of rainfall. So that area will pass from the coast right across as the eye moves. Of course, that is the protective area for the eye that moves along with it, all the way from the southwest of Jamaica to the north central part of the island. So you will experience those intense conditions before the calm, and then after that calm, you will experience it once again, unfortunately, and the winds will be from the opposite direction. So if it was coming to you from the east, it will now come to you from the west after the eye. If it was from the north, it will come from the south after the eye passes. It's always from the opposite direction after the eye passes, and you have to prepare yourself for that.
All right, so my question has to do with lightning strikes, because in one of the models that you showed us, I believe it was yesterday, we saw quite a few areas of thunderstorms. So I'm not certain what you can tell Jamaica now in terms of preparing or protecting ourselves from the possibility of being struck by lightning. And what do we look out for ahead of it? What are the signs?
Yes, lightning frequently occurs during the thunderstorms. Of course, it does occur during thunderstorms. And thunderstorms will be part of that intense area of the shower activity. We don't expect anyone to be outside, really. So that should, of course, protect you from the lightning strikes to a large extent. Of course, there will be some impact. It will affect electricity supply. It could also be the cause of fires. And so it's important that that is also monitored. I'm sure the fire brigade is alert to that, that there could be fires that are generated because of the lightning strike. So that is one of those hazards that actually accompanies hurricanes as well. We don't talk much about tornadoes either, but actually we do have small tornadoes that develop in hurricanes, and that is something that people need to also be aware of. Whenever hurricanes move over, generally you have those smaller scale cyclonic events that are tornadic. tornadoes develop within these systems, and that could also be a source of danger for residents as the system passes over. They don't last very long for our area, but they are a real possibility. Not just a possibility, they actually occur and have occurred in Jamaica in the past.
Possible for particular parishes more so than others, considering where this system is projected to travel?
I believe in most cases when you have those events, it would be in the lower lands, in the flatter lands, and not so much in the hilly terrain. However, we should be prepared. I mean, in the larger scale of things, we're dealing with a hurricane with huge winds, massive winds. But at the same time, you could have the resultant effect of additional with the smaller scale events taking place within it.
Thank you.
Another quick question to Mr. Mackenzie. You were clear, Mr. Thompson. Thank you. Very quickly, Minister, you mentioned that the JDF and JCF were responding to calls in the corporate area. Just trying to get some details on that. Is it that persons were now evacuating or any flooding or anything?
No, not anything major. Just assistance that was required of them, and they have responded as they would normally do. Because remember now, the command center carries every critical area of government that forms a part of our disaster response mechanism. So once the information is fed into the command center, we will go out to see what is required in terms of why a request was made. And that was why the team was out. And we have roving teams on the road that is driving around. So when they pick up anything on the road, they will act, and they will call in and give Central the information, and we will log those information, because we use the information after to see what took place and how best to address and to see how we can prevent. Yes.
And question from Nationwide: Have you been updated in terms of the readiness and the preparation for places such as prisons, children's homes, and homes for old persons?
Well, as I said before, the security forces sit on the national committee. So everything security-wise, and we don't discuss the security aspects of the prisons and the operations of the police and the military, because that is confined, and you know why that has to be confined. The Ministry of Labor and Social Security, we work with all the ministries are involved. So children homes and the infirmaries and everything is taken care of in the general scheme of things and planning. And inspections are done to these facilities to ensure that they are up to standard.
Ask you one more question. Could you just comment on why it is that at first we were facing a multi-day event, and now you're saying by this evening it will go? Could you just at least address that little thing?
All right, we're going to have to, this has to be the last question, because we do have to get the teams who need to get home safely. And so this is the last question, and I think you had answered it, Evan, before, but come.
Yes, this event has been multiple days that we've been experiencing it. This passing of the passage of the eye across the island will not be a full day. However, the entire event, we've been experiencing this for over a week, and this is part of the system that has been impacting us. It has been for a few days already, and will continue for another few days, because after the eye passes, we will have another maybe 2 days before we actually see a clearing. All right? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we are at the end of this press conference, just reminding everyone that if you want to support, we have international media that's streaming this live. If you want to support Jamaica, please go to supportjamaica.gov.jm. We're already receiving reports of flooding in St. Elizabeth. So all of you who are on the path that Evan has given us, please make sure you are getting to safety. It is becoming late to get to safety. The entire country is going to be affected. But as we said yesterday, we know we will get through this. Evan has said that this cloud and this wind and this rain will last for a couple days. But after that, we will rise again as a resilient Jamaican people. And so as we leave today, we continue to pray for this beautiful country, pray for those who are in the path of Hurricane Melissa, that God will guide them and God will keep them safe. Thank you all, and God bless Jamaica, land we love.
Children, during a hurricane, it's important to stay inside and listen to your parents or guardians. Stay calm, stay close to your family, and do something fun like drawing, singing, or reading a story. You are safe inside, and soon the storm will pass. Remember, we are all safe together. Remember, you're not alone. Reach out, stay connected, and support one another. If you or someone you know is struggling, then call the Jamaica Mental Health and Suicide Prevention Helpline at 888-NEW-LIFE or 888-639-5433. Together, we can get through anything. We are stronger together.
The hurricane season runs from June 1 through November 30. It normally peaks between August and October. Be prepared.
Lightning have been known to strike during a storm. Lightning can travel through your home's plumbing system and give you quite a jolt. Stay out of the shower during a storm. Avoid washing dishes as well. Monitor your radio or television for weather updates and instructions. Be prepared.
Be safe. Together, we are stronger. During this tropical storm, let's remember, we are stronger together. Check on your neighbors, especially those who may need a little extra help, or elderly and vulnerable. A kind word or small act can make a big difference. No one should be alone in this. Together, we can get through it. Stay safe. Stay connected. Together, we are stronger. Did you know that every municipal corporation in Jamaica is assigned a disaster coordinator? A disaster coordinator manages local awareness, prevention, and response efforts. They also create emergency plans following the guidelines of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM. Here's a list of all disaster coordinators and their contact information so you and others can stay safe as we continue to monitor weather conditions. Portmore residents, contact Miss Nordia Campbell at 876-878-5779. St. Catherine residents, contact Mrs. Yashika Jatton Thompson at 876-588-8682. St. Thomas residents, contact Mrs. Martina Medley Good at 876-396-9818. Hanover residents, contact Miss Anissa Spence at 876-564-0917. St. James residents, contact Mr. Ricardo Miller at 876-952-5500. Trelawney residents, contact Mrs. Dion Hilton Lewis at 876-843-0125. Westmoreland residents, contact Mrs. Marcine Campbell Carr at 876-296-0129. Portland residents, contact Mrs. Denise Lewis at 876-837-1986. St. Anne residents, contact Mr. Alvin Clark at 876-401-9866. St. Mary residents, contact Mr. Adrian Tate at 876-577-8307. Clarendon residents, contact Miss Stacy and Henningham at 876-853-1407. Manchester residents, contact Mr. Kevin Lewis at 876-503-2852. St. Elizabeth residents, contact Miss Nordia Campbell at 876-570-6269. Kingston and St. Andrew residents, contact Miss Terry Forrester at 876-456-1183. Be safe. Together, we are stronger. During this tropical storm, let's remember, we are stronger together. Check on your neighbors, especially those who may need a little extra help, or elderly and vulnerable. A kind word or small act can make a big difference. No one should be alone in this. Together, we can get through it. Stay safe. Stay connected. Together, we are stronger.
Come July, your NHT home improvement loan will increase to $3.5 million for qualifying applicants. Your government is caring for you.
Cook it up and make we steam it. Fresh so me need it, tilapia a real fish. Cook it up and make we roast it. Farm fresh so me need it, tilapia a real fish. Grow smart at the best part. Food for thought so me have to eat smart. Easy catch, fully net. A tilapia so you don't know what's next. Cook it up and make we fry it. Fresh so me need it, tilapia a real fish. Bring home the best in freshwater fish. High content of vitamin B3, protein and potassium. Tilapia, simple, healthy, delicious.
Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic. Well then, let's propel we nation moving forward in a new direction. True independence, that's the projection. No more dependency, it's the best plan. Yes, we know what's best for us, cause we want we country prosperous. So make we just pull together as the general public while on the road to republic. Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic.
A message from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
We on the road to republic.
Be safe. Together, we are stronger. During this tropical storm, let's remember, we are stronger together. Check on your neighbors, especially those who may need a little extra help, or elderly and vulnerable. A kind word or small act can make a big difference. No one should be alone in this. Together, we can get through it. Stay safe. Stay connected. Together, we are stronger.